we'll discuss now changing population size. In the first of this chapter, we have seen population is dynamic because it changes. In which areas it changes in a number. It was 1 or 2 crores as per 2001 census, and by 2011 census it is 121.01 crores. So in number it is changing, and in its distribution from one region to another region, and its composition in the sense different age group people as per the age structure. Okay, in all these aspects we find population changes, that what we call changing population, right? So what are the reasons for the change in population? There are three important aspects in changing the population size. One is the birth rate. What it is? Birth rate instead. Then second one is death rates. Death rates. Third one is migration instead. What is it? Migration instead. There are three factors or aspects we see with the connection to the change in population. Okay, what are those? It is birth, deaths, migration. How does these three aspects will bring change in the population size? Let us find out understand. So here, change in the size of a population is that the difference in the number of people in the country. Just now I have stated to you, I said to you, by 2001 census, the number of people, the total population of India was 102.7 crores. By 2011 census, it turned to 121.01. So what happened here? The size of the population changed. It means that the number of people living in the country during that period of 10 years from 2001 to 2011 is changed. That what we call change in the size of population. Change in the size of population refers to the number of people changing in the nation. Okay, that means the difference. Okay, the change in the number of people from last 10 years to now. Okay, and this change in the population is expressed in two ways, that is absolute number and percentage. That means, okay, let me check my voice. Right, so change in a population size is expressed in two ways. One is absolute numbers, second is a percentage. What in by absolute numbers? How many numbers of people increased from 2001 to 2011? That is absolute number. Then the percentage. Percentage in the sense it is 7 percentage increase, some 2 point percentage increasement. In that way, change in the population size is expressed. Understand? So absolute numbers, it means that every decade is the magnitude of a population increase. That means the absolute numbers added every decade, and it is obtained. It is taken by simply subtracting. That means removing the earlier population from the latter population. Here it is given. See, how do we get absolute number? Absolute number, it means the number of people increased from 2001 to 2011. How do we get this number? This number comes when we subtract what to call from 2011 census, that is 2001. When you remove, when you minus, that means when you subtract, when you what to call subtract, deduct from 2011 census to 2001, then you will get the absolute number. What is by 2011 census? It is 121 crores. By 2001, what is the population? 102 crores. So when you subtract 102 from 121, you will get a figure, right? And that figure is called absolute number. So change in population size is expressed in one method, that is absolute number, by subtracting earlier the past census from the latest census, that is 2011, right? This is one method. If the result is a positive number, that means if you get the figure, that is what you call a positive number, in the sense it is a greater number. See, from 121, if you subtract 1 or 2, you will get a positive number. Then we say that the population increased, right? Or for example, actually it has not happened. Just imagine that if it would happen like this. For example, in 2011 census, the population is 1 or 2 crores, and by 2001 it would be 121, right? Then you will get a minus figure. It means that the number of people decreased. If you get the negative number, you have to understand it is decreased. If you get a positive number, you have to understand the population increased. So by 2001 to 2011, we get a positive number when you subtract 102 crores from what you call 121 crores. Understand? So what will be the figure from what you call subtracting it? That is 121 minus 102. Understand? Then what will come? It is approximately we'll get what you call 18 or some 17. It means that a positive number, so the population has increased. That is one method. Understand? So it is given. How do we get? Understand? Population change, in the sense the principle is given here. Please note down this. Understand? Population change in the sense absolute numbers is equal to population at a later date and population at a earlier date. It means this is a 2011 census and it is a 2001 census. Understand? 2001 census. Then we get some absolute number, positive figure, that says population change. Understand? This is one method. Understand? How do we get population change? In the sense, two methods are there. Understand? I think it is clear to you. Okay. Next, we will move to the what happened to the population from what to call in a place. Population change in a place. How do we calculate a population change in a place? Understand? Look at that. There, population change in a place we get by adding number of births in that place, right? For example, population change we want to know for the place of Karimnagar. Then we have to identify the number of births in Karimnagar and number of migrants. Okay, number of in migrants, those who have come to Karimnagar and those who move out of the Karimnagar. Okay, that should be added. Number of migrants in from Karimnagar should to Karimnagar. That means what to call from Warangal, some people have come and settled in Karimnagar. That should be added. Okay, as we are taking the example of Karimnagar. For example, if we take Telangana, we want to know the population change of Telangana. Then we should identify that how many people have born in Telangana, right? And for that, what we have to add, how many people migrated in Telangana from other areas. It may be Maharashtra, it may be Andhra Pradesh. Some people will migrate in Telangana. That also we have to add, right? And number of deaths minus number of deaths in Telangana. How many people died in Telangana? That should be subtracted. And also the people who migrated from Telangana to Karnataka, Maharashtra, Delhi, that should be what you call subtracted. In such a way, we'll come to know that what happened to population change in a area. Understand? So if a positive number means that the population increased, right? If you get the positive number, the positive figure, then it means the population increased there. Same how we calculated absolute population, absolute number regarding the population change. Here also same, right? If we get a negative number, it means that population decreased over a period for a particular place, that is in our example Telangana. Understand? So in that way, population change in a place can be identified. Okay, number of births, migration in, we have to add, and from this we have to subtract, that is minus number of deaths and migrants out of the Telangana. Understand? Then you will get a figure. Understand? So let's find out that what happened to the population in India. Understand? Taking the only two, that what to call birth rate and death rate. Understand? For a moment, we are assuming that there was no migration in India. Actually, we have to calculate the population change taking the three aspects: birth rate, death rate, migration. But here we are considering there is no migration in India. Understand? There is no migration. Then how population changes with the birth rate and death rate? Understand? So here we'll discuss two things, that is BR birth rate and DR death rate. These two only we are going to discuss. How does these two aspects bring change in the population size? Migration also one factor, but for a moment, to understand these two aspects, birth rate and death rate, we are considering there is no migration. Okay, for our understanding, we have assumed that there is no migration. Understand? So what is mean by birth rate here? Understand? Birth rate is the number of live births per 1,000 persons in a year. Look at here. What is that? Birth rate is the number of live births per 1,000 persons in a year. Understand? Per year, for 1 year, for 1,000 persons, how many births are taking place is called birth rate. It is the number of births. Birth rate is the number of births per 1,000 persons in a year. Understand? So how was birth rate in 1992? Right? In 1992, in India, the birth rate was 29. How much it is? 29. Understand? What in by 29 here? In 1992 year, for every 1,000 persons, 29 children born. That is the birth rate. Understand? It means that for every 1,000 persons living in the country in 1992, there were 29 children births. Understand? See, population, total population is divided into the number of groups, each group consisting 1,000. Okay, so for every 1,000, how many people have born, they'll calculate. Understand? So in that way, for every 1,000, it was 29. Understand? In a country from 1992, in our country, it was 29 persons born for 1,000. Understand? How many? For every 1,000 people, 29 persons born in 1992, and it is called birth rate. So what was the birth rate in 1992? It was 29. How much it is? 29 was the birth rate. Similarly, the death rate also calculated in the same manner. It is the number of deaths per thousand every year in a year. Understand? So it was 10 people. What to call in 19? What to call 92? Understand? How many? 10 people died for every 1,000 people in 1992. Look at here. Understand? Death rate is the number of deaths per 1,000 persons in a year. In 1992, for every 1,000 persons, 10 people died. Understand? So what is the death rate there? It is a 10%. What is the birth rate? There 29. Okay. Then what we'll get here? Birth rate is 29. Death is 10. So to get what to call the number of people in a place, we need to subtract number of persons died. We have to add the number of persons taken birth instead. So difference will be taken. Okay. So what is the difference there? The difference is like this: from 29 is the birth rate, and 10 is the death rate instead. So when you subtract from this, what you'll get? 19. That means every year in 1992, for every 1,000 persons, 19, for every 1,000 persons, 19 children added. Okay, 19 children added for 1,000 persons. Understand? 19 children added for 1,000 persons in 1992. Okay, when this we want in a percentage. So to get in percentage, we have to what to call multiply. What to call it? Converting into percentage, it will come 1.9 instead, right? How? We'll see that here. And what it is, it was 19. When we want to convert into the percentage, it becomes 1.9. 1.9 instead. How it becomes in 1.9? Look at it is 19 by 100. Understand? So what it is that one will these two wills be for 1,000 people. So what it is 19 by 1,000 into 100. Understand? So two zeros cancel, one zero is there. If you remove this zero, here becomes point. So in 1992, what is the percentage of the uh, birth rate? That is 1.92. Okay, 1.9 is the growth rate of a population in 1992. Understand? So what was the growth rate of population? Growth rate of the population is expressed in percentage. So in 1992, the growth rate of the population was 1.9. Okay, for every 1,000 persons, there was 1.9. That means one or two children born in that year. That is what to call birth rate instead. So this number can be expressed in that way. Okay, then the rate of or the pace of the population increase is important. Understand? Means in what manner the population is increasing. Okay, and it is studied in percentage. Okay, how in what rate the population is increasing. To know that one, it is very important. Understand? So this can be expressed in percentages. Understand? For example, the rate of increase of 2 percentage per annum. Look at here, my dear students. It is the rate of 2 percentage per annum, means there was 2 persons increasement for every 100 persons in the base year. For every 100 persons, 2 persons are increased. Understand? This is what 2 percentage per annum. Understand? So this is calculated like a compound interest. Understand? So it refers to annual growth rate. Understand? So India's population is increasing steadily. Understand? It is increasing what? Steadily. Okay. If you look at the graph, you will understand what happened to the population here. Understand? Look at here, my dear students. I'll show the graph to you. Okay. Now look at this graph. Okay. What do you see in this graph? Huh? In this graph, it shows the population gradually increasing, right? It is what? Increasing the population. Look at here how it is increasing, right? So what it is, it mean that there the population increased. Understand? That means India's population constantly, what you call, steadily increasing, right? Steadily increasing from 19 what to call 1 to 2011, right? 1901 to 2011 the population increased. Okay, look at here. I'll show that figure, the graph also. At one side it is shown what to call the population. Dear students, uh, look at here. It is 238 what to call millions in 1901 and 252 in 1911. Like that, it is 846 in 1991. By 2001, 102, and by 2011, it is 121. Right? Let me show you that. Yeah, it is 121. Understand? How much it is? 121 people, 121, sorry, 121 millions is the population, what to call, growth. So India population increased steadily. Understand? So to examine that how this population increased, we have to find birth rate and death rate, some other reasons also we have to find. This we'll see in the next